Hello everyone and welcome back to Grim Dawn. We have... I guess we could call this section here, the undead stuff, Act 1. I didn't explore this fully actually, but doesn't matter. So I guess by that meaning we would now be in Act 2, going up against the bandits that were or are entrenched over here on the other side of the river in order to prevent them from launching an attack on Devil's Crossing, because that's kind of, well, where we live. So right now one of our jobs is to kill Darius Cronley. He also mentioned killing his lieutenants. Oh, Edmund's stash, cool. The lieutenants, or lieutenants, depending on pronunciation, of course, have not been mentioned in the quest here, but they have been mentioned in dialogue, so not sure what's up with that. And then I'm supposed to find some rovers that are no longer being peaceful and actually fight against the bandits. And I need to find out what happened to that guy's friend, Elsa. And as I noticed last time, they say discover her fate, which I mean, might just be the phrasing they choose to sound dark and gloomy, but it's also the phrasing you would choose if she were dead and you're supposed to find her corpse. Fate just sounds final, like it's over, basically. I don't know. Again, this is obviously just an interpretation of the way it's phrased. She might still be alive. Okay, level up. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting I have my my bird here. Wait, I can't use it while I'm in this screen. Never mind. Yeah, I was gonna just spec the main line of attributes until I got here to be able to just fully buff out the passive effects on my main attack, the replicating missile. So far, it has worked out very well for me. I'm doing very good damage with it. Obviously, I'm playing on quite a low difficulty. I have to say, I tend to always play on low difficulties for first playthroughs in games, when they offer one. Higher difficulties in many games are, I don't know, not satisfying to me. I mean, a game like Dark Souls I really enjoy, despite its difficulty. Or partly because of its difficulty. I don't mind the challenge, but a game like Fallout 3, higher difficulty really just means enemies having more HP and doing more damage. That makes the game harder, but not more satisfying, I guess. Right, looks like we found a friendly. Stephen Skinner. Stand back, I'm burning this shack down. My family does not need to suffer any longer in this horrible world. Is your family in there? Are you insane? Stay out of this, it's for the best. Look, things are bad, but we can't lose hope. What hope is there left? Good people are dying and the world is overrun with monstrosities we used to spook our children with. I will not have my family suffer any longer. I come from Devil's Crossing. It's safe there. Safe? What's safe anymore? We are safe out here. We were safe out here once too. Look at this place now. We defend it. There is shelter and drinking water. Please join us. Perhaps this is the fresh start we needed. I really hope you speak the truth. Alright, take us there. Riftgate! Yeah, I mean, come on. No need to kill your wife just yet. Can probably get life insurance in Devil's Crossing. Oh, Windraptor Skylord. That sounds cool. Kaimorn's Scripture First Passage. That sounds ominous. Okay, an untouched meal. Pretty sure I don't want to eat that. Alright. Alright, I'll leave this open for, say, a few seconds. That should have been long enough. And then I'll scroll down and you can read the rest. Yeah, there we go. I think this is probably better than me reading it out. As I said, my reading voice is not that awesome. And it's just takes time away from playing the actual game and murdering innocents. Well, not innocents, actually. Yeah, speaking of difficulty, I kind of started that point and didn't finish it. Well, I kind of finished it. But yeah, the main point is that if the difficulty feels more challenging, then I like it. If it's just more tedious, then I don't like it. I played Fallout 3 on a harder difficulty at some point, and the fights just took twice as long. And you needed more stimpaks, but it wasn't... You didn't need new strategies, you just needed more items, basically. And that wasn't interesting. One thing I did like was in XCOM, Enemy Unknown, the new one. It's not perfect, the difficulty scaling, but just because of the way the game is designed, the higher difficulty, even though it's sort of lazily created, it changes strategically how you have to play the game. And I'll get into that after I talk to this guy. You there, hear a dying man out, will you? Well, sure. Backstabbed by my partner, only man I thought I could trust in this forsaken hellhole. We were traveling, cart full of scrap we'd salvaged from some rundown homes, when I guess the bastard decided that splitting the profits 50-50 just wasn't gonna cut it. He jumped me in the middle of the night and stabbed me right in the gut, made off with all the loot and left me to die out here. If you ever run into a man in a patchwork green jacket going by the name Isaiah, you cut him down for me. Will ya? Don't suppose he got too far down the road, pushing the cart by himself. Okay. Interesting. The setup just feels like the other guy's going to say, actually he attacked me and I was just defending myself. That's my prediction. It might well be wrong. Anyway, XCOM, yeah. So, the difficulty scaling in XCOM is also just mostly numerical. Basically, giving the enemies more HP. But, just because of the way the game is structured, this actually changes quite a bit. I'll just give one example, there's others like it, but in normal difficulty, the standard enemies that you encounter in the beginning are sectoids and thin men. And they have 3 hit points each, which is the exact amount of damage that a grenade does, the fragmentation grenades you get in the beginning. So, one grenade chucked into a bunch of sectoids or thin men will kill them. And just the change of higher difficulties giving them 4 HP. I think that the thin men actually get even more, but They basically get enough HP that they don't die from a single grenade anymore. And that doesn't sound like much. And I'm not sure if it was intentional by the developers or not. But it really changes how you deal with these, how you deal with the enemies. Because the strategy of, oh, there's a bunch of sectoids entrenched there, I'll chuck a grenade, just doesn't work anymore. Because the grenade won't kill them, basically. And that makes quite a bit of difference. That sort of stems from the design choice of giving them just that 1 point of additional health. Again, I can't say that that was necessarily done here. Devotion. Yeah, I'm still really confused about what this all does and means. Did I... So I think I finished this thing. No, wait. Did I? No. What the... No, I finished this. Okay. And I apparently put this point here. So... freeze, duration, and slow resistance. Okay, cool. As I said, I really... I think this menu here is a bit poorly designed. It seems to take a lot of effort to get to grips with what this all means and does, and it's not very intuitively laid out. Compare this to the sphere grid in Final Fantasy X or the passive skill tree in Path of Exile. It's a lot more intuitive, especially in Path of Exile, where you have to go and what it all means. And you have standard nodes that just by the way they look, not by any text or anything, you can tell whether it's going to be for dexterity, intelligence, or strength. And then you have like areas that deal with increasing your effectiveness using a bow, and there's a handy little bow symbol in that area. And same for daggers and claws and wands and all that stuff. It's just a lot more intuitive than this, where in order to find out what this does and what any of these mean, I have to hover over them to actually realize what they do and what prerequisites I need to meet before I can spec them. And yeah, it's I think if you know the system very well, it might be interesting, but since I don't, it's just very confusing. But I keep going on about that, so let's not. Alright, there you go. Sorry about that. So I got a shrine down here, which is obviously a reward all by itself. I'm just wondering if that's all there is down here. I mean, there's going to be a few more enemies and such, but I'm going to explore the place a little just to see if there's any... Damn it, my nose itches. If there's anything else to be had. So obviously those devotion points are very useful, and I mean, some of the passive on-attack abilities that you can get, they read like they're very powerful. It seems hard to make an informed decision on what you actually want to do in that menu. I may want to read up on builds or anything, or builds or strategies for that before I make a second character who will be a little more optimized. Because yeah, as I said, as it is presented, it's just confusing, at least to me. Perhaps it's just intuitive to others, but yeah, I find it hard to make heads or tails of it. Again, I think Path of Exile does it much. Okay, I'm still missing some stuff back here. Path of Exile just does it much better by making it much more clear what areas it would be interesting to go into if you're using a bow, for example, if you want to focus on bows. And then you still need to check some of the actual stats that you get from the nodes that you go into. But at least the direction that you want to go for a dexterity build, for example, is color-coded. And then there's symbolic coding for more specific stuff. And it does a much better job of explaining these things. Not that Path of Exile is that great a game. It definitely has issues, but just that one aspect I prefer. And that's actually an important thing to note. Oh, an Exalted Stash. Okay. That was not too difficult. I think my inventory is almost full now. Okay, no special boss consumable. And yeah, my inventory is pretty much full. And I still have the stuff from this Exalted Stash. So I'm just gonna drop some yellow items to pick up these green and blue ones, and then oh wow, even more stuff. And then I will, was it L? Yes. I will return to Devil's Crossing to mostly just sell stuff. Yes, you.
I'll give you a good price on what I've got left.
I don't think I'm really gonna check much of the yellow equipment anymore. Wait, those boots? Nope. Yeah, this is not always ideal. In many games, checking lower rarity items still pays off to some extent. I just want to waste less time. So basically, I'm only checking yellow items for currently my gloves and my boots. This may make me lose out on some advantages. On the other hand, I do gain just some speed in dealing with all this stuff. Complete components, auto sort. Okay. What do we have here? Briarthorn Band. Bleeding damage, health, piercing retaliation. I mean, it requires a higher level. I don't really do bleeding damage. But then damage to beastkin, I'm going to put this in my stash. It doesn't seem better than what I currently have, but it's an epic item and I don't feel like throwing these away. There might be a use for them later in some way. Don't want this. Don't want this. Okay. Vitality damage, chaos damage, offensive ability, energy region. No, you can go as well. Okay, what do I have here? Pierce damage, damage to undead. No, we're good. Okay. I don't want to run back to the stash now. I'm just gonna keep this on me.
Iron well spent.
I didn't spend any iron. Just saying. Oh, you spent some. That's fine. Alright, let's pick up the rest. Again, I'm just selling the yellow items for cash and looking at green and above. This might not be perfect, and as I said, I'm well aware, but it'll save time. And I don't want this LP to become completely tedious. I know my first playthrough of the first action role-playing game I ever played. Or Diablo clone, I guess. Action RPG is a bit generic at this point. Okay, we're done. I think it was Fate, the Traitor's Soul. And I know that I spent the entire playthrough, or at least the entire time I spent with it. I'm not sure I ever finished the game. Doesn't matter. I know that I picked up every single item throughout the entire playthrough and identified all of them and compared all of them to what I was currently wearing, and it usually just doesn't make any sense. Same thing in Borderlands, for example. In the beginning, I kind of the first few levels, I tend to check every weapon I see, but after that, it's I only focus on the higher rarities because the lower rarities are usually not worth even considering. Slightly different in Borderlands 1 than Borderlands 2. Borderlands 1, there's still fairly frequent cases where lower rarity stuff still has its value, but yeah. Can I get the dust covered journal from here? It looked like I can. No, okay. I thought maybe I could get close enough to grab it through the wall, basically. It's not uncommon in games to be able to do stuff from the other side of walls. Oh, more enemies. Yay. Okay, it's a little, I know, boring that it's still skeletons. I figured that the change of setting would mean that we're now no longer dealing with undead. Instead, I don't know, maybe we'd be moving on to bandits and animals, as the initial parts of this suggested. But still undead around by the looks of it. I think I'm on fire. Or I was... maybe I'm bleeding? Okay, these overlays are not... oh, when the debuff is not long enough, it's hard to tell what it is. Anyway, corrosive iron cutlass. Guessing that'll be more pop-ups? Possibly even a boss at the end of this? Okay, so I'm finding the AoE effect of this spell is somewhat unreliable. I think when I'm done speccing it, I'll move on to some genuine AoE. I don't know, there must be some kind of Firestorm or Chaos Storm or some AoE-ish thing. Right, dust-covered journal. Let's quickly activate that, and you can read the first bit. It's actually a good point in the episode as well, so... there you go, it must have been enough time. Right, that's about the next page. You can pause it again. Shouldn't take long to hit the pause button. And then there's the rest of it if you want to read it. I think this is just the best solution to finding a good middle ground. Okay. And at this point I'm going to end the episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.